It's so good. It's like the best guilty pleasure food that you can get in Rome.
Buongiorno and welcome back. This is Sarah here from Headout, and today we are exploring everything you need to know for how to visit the Eternal City. Rome is a place that is magical. It's full of art, it's full of history, it's full of culture. And let's face it, it probably has some of the best food and drink you'll get across the whole of Italy, if not Europe. In this travel guide, we will be running through everything you need to know to help you explore and make the most out of your trip. That includes where to stay, when to visit, what to do, what to see, and how to actually book some of these awesome, iconic experiences. Are you ready? Let's go. First, we're going to cover the main three classic spots. We have Colosseum, we have the Vatican City. By Vatican City, we mean Vatican Museums and Sistine Chapel, and then St. Peter's Square and St. Peter's Basilica. And then, of course, we have Villa Borghese. If you are planning on visiting one of these three top sites, these next three tips are going to be incredibly useful to you. Tip number one, mix and match your itinerary. You want to mix popular attractions with lesser known attractions, and you want to match the activities in the same area for a single day, which is going to cut out all of this hassle of having to get from one side of the city to the other. Take the Colosseum for example. If you're to book a tour at the Colosseum, there's nothing to stop you from going afterwards to see Altare della Patria, that viewpoint at the top of Piazza Venezia. Alternatively, you could go and do a trip to the Capitolini museums. Tip number two is about knowing the general calendars. Let's take the Vatican as an example. The Vatican is closed every Sunday. On Wednesday mornings, the Pope does a speech from St. Peter's Square. Now, if seeing the Pope speak is on your bucket list, perfect opportunity for you is to head to the Vatican St. Peter's Square in the morning, see the Pope and book a tour for the museums in the afternoon, getting you access to the Sistine Chapel. The issue, however, is bear in mind that Wednesday afternoons, a lot of people are going to be doing this. Realistically, if we take these 2 points into consideration, the best day for visiting the Vatican museums would be either Tuesday or a Thursday. Tip number three, which is knowing when to book which experience and at what time to book it. Granted, there's so much to do in Rome that you'll find a lot of the time you can buy last-minute tickets, especially on Headout. However, when it comes to the Vatican, the Colosseum and the Borghese, you'll find that if you are able to book these in advance, you're going to have a lot more flexibility, you're going to have a lot more choice in terms of visits, in terms of tickets or tours, and also in terms of what time of the day you can visit.
Just before we move ahead, there's much more to see in and around these three iconic landmarks. We've expanded it all in our Rome Pocket Guide. And not just that, we've covered hidden gems, travel tips, and more. Scan the QR code or check the link below to get your pocket guide.
Now that we've got the big three out of the way, let's give you a quick rundown on a few other activities that you might be interested in booking when you're coming down to Rome. First off, you have Castle St. Angelo, great fortress. And then you've also got a few other great museums in Rome, including the Leonardo da Vinci Museum. You have Palazzo Barberini, Palazzo Corsini. Now, we're going to let you in on another little quick tip here. For the most part, across Italy, you'll find that churches are free to enter anywhere. Some of these popular churches include the Basilica of San Giovanni in Laterano, the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore. You have Santa Maria del Popolo. It's right in the center of Piazza del Popolo. You've also got San Pietro in Vincoli, where you have the incredible statue of Moses by none other than Michelangelo. Another great recommendation that we have for you here is the Catacombs of San Callistus. The one thing is to bear in mind that you are going to have to visit them with a guide because you don't want to risk getting lost on the inside. We recommend also doing the transfer option, just because it's slightly out of the center and it can be a little bit tricky to get to, especially for first-time visitors. Fear not there, you can check that out in the description below. But if you ever find it a little bit overwhelming and you want to take a step back, you need like some little greenery, you can head over to Piazza Cavour in Prati. Or why not go down to Trastevere and head down to the botanical gardens?
Each little neighborhood, there's always a small patch of greenery.
So if you are in Trastevere, we recommend coming to the botanical gardens because it's super peaceful and it's really nice to get away from all of the hustle and bustle of the tourists at the main sites.
Music lovers, this one's for you. You even have the opportunity to see some incredible operas in Rome. Why not go on a little bit of a bougie date? Or if you're with family, take the family out and go and experience a different side of the Italian culture. You've got your street food classics like supplì and trapezzino. You have incredible gelato, not ice cream, gelato. You also have the authentic big three Italian pasta dishes, that is caccioppette, carbonara and amatriciana. General rule of thumb, try to avoid going to places where you're being asked to come in. If it's a good restaurant, the locals will speak for itself. It's going to be packed with people in there. Likewise, try to avoid eating right next to a big main attraction monument. If you're outside the Colosseum, there's no reason why you need to sit at the restaurant facing the Colosseum. Chances are you're going to be paying a big surcharge for the view, and the quality is just not going to be as good as if you were to go a few streets down. Now, if you are looking to learn a little bit more about the food culture in Italy, you could always consider joining a food tour.
Now, this is what we call pizza al taglio, which means by the slice. So it comes in these long rectangular trays and they cut it across like this and you pay by the weight.
The great thing about food tours is you're with a local guide and you get to taste all of the local flavors that you may not have tasted otherwise. Be a bit more ambitious with your tasting platter. If you want to roll up your sleeves and really understand the tips and tricks behind Italian cuisine, you can opt for a cooking class. If you're interested in finding out a little bit more about the different food experiences that we have on offer here in the city of Rome, check out this video over here. There is of course Via del Corso, which is the main shopping street in Rome, and that's where you're going to have all of your standard clothing outlets. But when we look into going shopping in Rome, we're not limiting ourselves just to those ones. It can actually be an incredible experience to go down to the local markets. Okay, you have Porta Portese, which is right down towards the south of Trastevere, and you've also got the Trionfale market in Prati. We also have Via Collo di Renzo, which is based in Prati, where you have a few other boutiques and different homeware stores as well. For more details on how to get tickets, what opportunities you have, and all of the different locations that you can explore in Rome, check out our local pocket guide. So the other great thing about Rome, especially for those that are going to be staying for a little bit longer, maybe you want to take one of the days to do a day trip outside of the city. You could do the high-speed train from Termini Station all the way up to Naples. You could even consider a day trip to Pompeii, which is a very popular recommended tour that we have. We will link that down below as well. Alternatively, if you want to stay a little bit closer to Rome, but still looking to escape the city, you've got two main options. You could go to Ostia Antica, or alternatively, go up to Tivoli. The former will give you the possibility to really see basically a mini Pompeii. You get all these incredible ruins and you can club that with a beach. Alternatively, if you're doing Tivoli, you have the opportunity to experience a little bit more of a greenery.
Just a quick side note before we dive back in, Rome is the perfect base for exploring Italy's most iconic spots. From Florence to Siena to the Amalfi Coast, there's a lot you can cover. Find the best day trips in our Rome Pocket Guide to make planning easy.
First things first, Rome is bigger than you would expect it to be. There's actually 22 districts in Rome, which are then divided into these kind of like mini suburbs and different areas. What we're going to be doing now is diving into the main locations where you should probably consider staying because they're perfectly connected. They're within walking distance of the main monuments. They have the best atmosphere, or maybe they just have the best budget deals. So first up, we have Trastevere. Trastevere is the perfect neighborhood for lively, adventurous young souls. is just full of vibrance. You go down, you have these gorgeous cobble-lined alleyways with ivy-clad buildings. It's so stereotypically beautifully Italian. The two downsides to Trastevere is because it is a bit more of a partier neighborhood, it can get a little bit noisy. The second drawback is that there's no metro. However, fear not, because there is a tram stop in Piazza Belli that will take you pretty much into the centre, where you can then connect to the metro. Failing that, you can also do a 10-minute walk across the bridge over to Lago Argentina, where you have the possibility to get a bus depot, taxis, trams, and also pretty connected right into the heart of the city centre. Monte is right in the heart of the action. You have vibrant nightlife, you have incredible monuments. This is where the Colosseum, Palatine Hill, the Roman Forum, Basilica Santa Maria Maggiore, all of these can be found right on your doorstep if you're staying in Monte. So up next, we of course have Prati. This is basically the epitome of residential elegance. It's a lot more chic compared to the other areas. It's very wide open boulevards. It's kind of got a bit of a Parisian vibe because it's not too far from the river. You're a stone's throw away from very iconic attractions, including the Vatican City, St. Peter's Basilica, the Vatican Museums, the Sistine Chapel, Piazza Cavour, Castle St. Angelo. It's not too far from Villa Borghese if you'd like to get a little bit of greenery in with your trip.
Hey, we know picking the right place to stay is not always easy, but our Rome Pocket Guide breaks down the best neighborhoods, top hotel picks, and everything you need to make planning a breeze. So don't forget to check it out.
There's 3 different ways that you can get from the airport into the centre, which would be either a taxi, a bus, or the train. We'll dive into those just now.
Option 1, Leonardo Express. Okay, so one of the main ways to get from Fiumicino Airport down to Rome is going to be to take the Leonardo Express. This train departs approximately every 25 to 30 minutes, and it takes only 32 minutes to get you from the airport into the centre of Rome, Termini Station.
Now, of course, there's one train here that we didn't quite cover in that clip, which is the regional train. The regional train is €8 and it takes you about 45 to an hour to get into Termini Station. The great thing about this one is it's going to stop at other stations near Rome before you get to the main terminal. Your second option? The bus.
The buses generally leave every 30 to 40 minutes, or there's another bus that leaves every hour. The one thing to bear in mind is the bus station is located outside of Terminal 3, so if you are arriving at Terminal 1, just keep walking all the way down until you get to the bus sign. The third option to get to Termini train station from Fiumicino Airport is to take a taxi. It's going to get you directly there. Just remember, it's only a fixed rate if you're going inside the Aurelian rules. Let's go.
Okay, you ready for the top tip here? Please be aware of scammers. Stay in line if you have any doubts. When you're waiting for a taxi, a lot of people are going to try and approach you and take you out of that line, charging you €50. What they're not telling you is that they'll be charging €50 a person that gets into the cab. That of course means that instead of them having the €50 fare to get into the centre, they're now getting 200. Have your smarts about you, it won't take more than 10 to 15 minutes to wait in that line. Okay, so we're on to our next hot topic, which is of course getting around Rome once you've made it to the Eternal City. Out of the 3 options, the metro is going to be the most reliable. This is why it's really important for you to understand where it is that you want to be staying, because that's going to help you get to A and B and make sure you're nearby these attractions. If you're in a pinch, you can always book a taxi. You'll find that most of the times there's going to be a lamppost with an orange sign with taxi written on it near any of the taxi ranks. Jump in and they'll always be on the meter as well. You can also look at downloading Free Now, which will be able to book your taxis in advance. One thing that Rome does have though is a very good system in terms of the hop-on, hop-off bus routes. Now, these were organised by multiple different tour providers that basically club together and organise bus routes for hop-on, hop-off services that get you to all of the main attractions in the city. The great thing is you can buy a 1-day, a 2-day, even a 3-day pass, which is more than sufficient in helping you get from A to B, B to C, and C back to A again. Check the link below if you'd like to see more of these hop-on, hop-off buses, and check the routes as well. Now, when you are planning your trip to Rome, one of the first questions you'll probably ask yourself is, when should I visit? The great thing about Rome is there's so much to do both indoors and outdoors that it's pretty much great all year round. There are some seasons which are better than the others. For us, we recommend shoulder seasons. This is the section more spring or autumn. You're just outside of the rainy season and you're just before that really big heat of summer. At these times, you'll find that there's slightly less crowds and you'll get a slightly better deal on some of the excursions that you're doing because it's not high tourist season. Generally speaking, a lot of the small convenience stores, if you want to grab a coffee or you want to grab a bottle of water, you're going to need a little bit of loose change. So we always recommend having a few 5, 10, maybe a 20 and some loose change handy with you in your purse. When it comes to restaurants and dining inside, for that, you'll have no problems paying with a card. Generally, you'll find that Visa, MasterCard, most of the main ones are all accepted. We recommend signing up with either Vodafone or TIM. You'll find these shops not only in the airports themselves, both at Fiumicino and Ciampino, but also dotted across the city. There you'll be able to activate a SIM card, let's say 10 to 25 euros normally, which will have either 4G or 5G data and unlimited connectivity for during your stay.
And before we wrap up, just a final reminder. We know trip planning can get overwhelming, especially when it comes to saving money. That's why we've put together the Ultimate Rome Pocket Guide, packed with budget-friendly tips, free attractions, the best passes, and more. Don't forget to check it out.
Okay guys, so that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you found it useful to help you plan your trip for Rome. Of course, if you have any other questions, do just let us know in the comments. We will get to those as soon as possible. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we will catch you next time. Ciao!